Hello, hello. Often we have very clear understanding of what it would do for us to move into a deeper level of self-care. But the familiarity with the suffering that we're still inside of makes it uncomfortable to cross that threshold into more connected, ecstatic experiences. People that push past their wounding and become disciplined and get to those breakthroughs without having got to know the part of them that is resisting, that doesn't work very well. We have to go back. And so we might as well do it while we're here and go slow and use it as a gauge rather than look at it as a negative. So yes, there are energies that interfere and use our wounding as a means to keep us put, to make sure we stay put and don't unbind from the limited theater that we're inside of. And your ability to care for yourself and become impeccable with your energy is what will free you from this distraction, this information. So you can move into the lucid side of intensity and be able to travel in other worlds and not get caught and snared in this one. And although that sounds grandiose and whatnot, it really isn't. We're in a time where a lot of change is coming, and we're going to be able to do things in groups, be able to focus like never before, be able to experience feelings we've never felt, break out of the Groundhog's Day of the repetition of feeling the same feelings every morning. You start having brand new, energizing understandings spur you into greater depths of curiosity and creativity of expression. And it's when you get to know yourself that you become knowledgeable. It isn't by understanding information. But inside of this journey, there's incredible information that can help you come out of hypnosis. And it's just about being delicate with yourself instead of reckless. Being loving with yourself instead of hard on yourself. How are you speaking to yourself? What are you saying? Is there a way to adjust what it is that you're saying so that you're creating an opportunity for healing instead of enforcing and reinforcing a limitation? But then the opposite of pretending that everything's great when it's not, sugarcoating, self-deception that can be really difficult to come out of. We need to get to our feelings, and there's some feelings we don't want to deal with, but they lead to the feelings that you do want to encounter and remember the most incredible feelings from our past. I'm at a point where it's just pretty constant, like a stream of memories that I'd completely forgotten about. So much happened in our lives. We just compartmentalize it to the point we have very little access to the inventory. And so when you're doing a lot of shamanic movement, you're going deeper and deeper into silence. You almost don't even need to recapitulate because it just starts coming to you, for you. You just keep saying thank you. Life gets really exciting, becomes an adventure. You learn to live in heightened awareness. Learn to slow everything down and really feel your footsteps on the earth, whether you're wearing shoes or not. Don't let there be a limitation. You can ground in earth, from a 20th story of a skyscraper, wearing steel-toed boots and whatever. Like, there's always a way, once you realize it, that you can anchor yourself to this realm so that you're not ungrounded and floating in fear and confusion. And then you'll feel more comfortable becoming daring as to how to move your perception. It's ultimately your perception's going to move when you die, and or as you get older. You start to become less physical and become more energy. This illusion of physicality starts to dispel, and you can't hold on to it, and all these feelings from your past surface. But it's too late. You're losing your marbles. At that point, you're no longer able to make use of these incredible gifts of memory that are coming back. And so you'll see people with dementia and Alzheimer's that are like, all of a sudden they're just right there. They're in their childhood. It's so beautiful and tragic. And there's no guarantee that I won't be one of them. I'm doing my best to understand the Castaneda material without getting overwhelmed by it. I'm also doing my best to not be limited to it, although I find it to just be totally confronting. There are pieces of it that are causing limitation in my reality. That's just part of becoming independent, and is to use a system and then to free yourself from it. But there's interdependence that comes from it, and respecting the knowledge base that allowed you to interact with your power and your intent. This is a world of power, and in order to navigate it successfully, we have to have our electricity healed, which is nervous system regulation, being able to calm yourself, to get to know yourself and how you respond in situations that are heightened, like street fights, road rage, intense arguments on job sites. I got kicked out of a bar in Pittsburgh, in Baltimore, when I was traveling for music. And how I handled it was amazing. I could have allowed it to become something totally different, but every experience offers an opportunity for you to express yourself and see what happens when you do, and then how to navigate the intensity of the reactions. And so life becomes an adventure, and when you're not rattled by triggering people, then you can have really powerful experiences with yourself by going out into the world and not holding back. But Toltecs learn to wear a mask. They take their social mask off, and then they wear a much lightweight version of a mask, so that they don't scare people, so that they can get in and out of situations easily and not be triggering people all the time. It's just more of we call it controlled folly. Because if you were to show people that you're detached in the way that a sorcerer needs to be, it's just like staring in the eyes of a bald eagle. It's just like it doesn't look warm. It just looks ruthless. It's a bird of prey. You become a bird of prey when you become a dreamer. You learn to become a bird. It's part of it. You learn to become all kinds of things. You become one with your environment. You become one with source, with intent. And you can interact with intent in any way that you so choose. But everything is recorded. Everything is witnessed. And everything you do, it just is part of everything that will happen to you because of it. And so finding a way to heal, to really be honest with things that we have done to ourselves and others, so that we can know ourselves and reach places in which we can be honest and do our best to resolve any continued issue in the field because of it. So in the Castaneda books, his goal is to get to these people in his life, as a means to bring closure to relationships that didn't have closure, as a means to become free, to move into the next stage of his evolutionary capacity. And it was an excruciating process for him to open up all those wounds at a late stage in life. But this is the deathbed stuff. Death can be excruciating if we haven't recapitulated, become aware of what our energy body and our physical body is capable of. The shamanic movements are so profoundly simple and beautiful in that they allow your body to learn how to express itself and how to redirect the stagnant energy that's been keeping you from your creativity and your imagination. And then your body and your energy body become one, or they get to merge. So your dancing gets liberated. You're not dancing with your physicality. Your energy body is moving your physical body. It's the martial arts. That's where it gets really advanced, is people that really know what they're doing, that are not caught in the linear, and they can sense what's coming. And we want to live that way. It doesn't have to be martial art based. It could be just how you drive your vehicle on the highway. You're in your feelings. You're not in your mind, and therefore, you're more likely to pull over when you need to pull over, or speed up when you need to speed up, or get off the highway entirely. If you're living in a fear-based system, you're not going to be able to be in your intuition. So being late for work could save your life, and they may not understand that. You don't need to tell them. If that gets you fired, then so be it. It was meant to be, but you being here is more important than getting to work on time. There's so much more that can happen when you heal. I'm working with so many people that are in a really, really difficult way. But as long as they continue to do the movements with me and the group and or one or the other, it's not whether or not it works, it's just whether or not people follow through. And there's a lot of students in the courses that can speak to that. It's an amazing thing to witness, and it's not inaccessible. It's sliding scale. It's available to most anyone. You can pay me in the future. It takes a lot of de-armoring though to receive the simplicity of it, the gift. So we do have a way that we can utilize, and it's not the only way. And ultimately, it's designed as a means to support other ways. And so, like I've said, if I would have waited to find perfect people to help me, I would have never, raised my hand and got the help that allowed me to now be healing from my past in a way that is truly profound. After all the cults and all the energy sickness that I went through from it, I'm beyond grateful to be okay. And it wasn't until I received a message from my future self saying it's going to be okay, that I was able to begin the process of really healing. And I think that message had been coming and coming, but I couldn't receive it. And then when I could, I was able to relax for the first time in maybe ever. And that's where everything gets just lit up. You know, you start to trust yourself again, or for the first time. If you can trust that it's going to be okay, once you receive that it is, and you're in your intuition, now you're really working with a feeling instead of creating limited storylines of fear and contraction, which leads to like a lack mentality. And then the blinders are slapped on. The blinders are linked to the past, so we erase our personal history, but very carefully, so that we don't get spun out. I've seen that a lot. People just trying to do a piece of the work. But if your death isn't your advisor in that process, then you're not going to have the capacity to be guided. You're just trying to just cut off your past, almost like cutting off a limb. It has to be soft and magical and not forced, coming from a place of listening. There's deeper and deeper levels of stillness and silence. In fact, that's how shamans travel, is they just get so quiet and still that they stop the world. And then they start to step into other worlds that present the secret of the assemblage point is that we can move our perception, and then the world that seems so fixed is no longer there. And that's why how Carlos was able to walk on a bridge of fog, or what Don Juan said, that if you move your assemblage point while you're in Los Angeles, you will remain, but Los Angeles will not. And so the recapitulation, the life review process leads to being able to go deeper and deeper into silence, to the point that you can unbind from this experience that we're all inside of, this dream, and you can transfer yourself to another dream, the one that is just as complete as this one. But to do so without having been trained or have the tools to handle the intensity of that would be overwhelming. That's why power plants are kind of dangerous compared to doing it slow and steady with the movements and the recap. But I've done power plants and I'm thankful for the experiences. It's just about knowing when and to what degree. And that's all not something you can write a book about, like a lot of people try to copy Carlos's work. I mean, Carlos's way of doing things. But that was specific to him. So reading Florinda Donner and Taisha Abelar, their accounts of their apprenticeships is helpful too. Very helpful. Probably ideal to read those first, actually. Especially for women. Confronting as hell, though, these books, all of them. But that's what suggests to me that they're very accurate, and it is very confronting to be in the presence of Carol Tiggs. It's a very otherworldly person who can see your fears, thoughts, feelings clearly. You just can tell. There's nothing to hide. And that's okay. And that's how I feel about surveillance and things. Like, it's not new. We're being observed anyways. It's just taking it to the next stage. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna go along with this and that and the other necessarily, but this is a dream in which magical things happen. There's magical deer, there's magical people. We are not going to escape by going into the jungle and disappearing. Our ability to be here and become insulated. And when you're in powerful training like the groups that I run, you feel that way. You feel supported, and we're like floating off each other's intention. And you're more in your intuition, and you feel insulated. Not everyone. Depends on how much armor each person is experiencing. But it gets stronger and stronger. So we don't have to do this alone. Being in a wolf pack is so needed.